Call this meeting of the Public Safety Local Income Tax Committee in the Monroe County Local Income Tax Council, Tuesday, August 9th, 2022 to order. Let's do a quick roll call. Jeff McKim here.
Jim Sims.
Susan Sandberg.
Isabel Piedmont Smith.
Thank you very much. And just to, do we have anybody on Zoom? Any committee members on Zoom?
Not that I see at the moment, no.
So just to confirm, Mr. Lucas, we do have a quorum?
Yes.
Terrific. Okay, we've done roll call. Any changes to the agenda, any amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 3, which are our recommendations. And the first item 3A is an overview of estimated 2023 local income tax, public safety revenues and distributions. And I believe that will be city staff that'll be giving that presentation.
Yes, thank you. I'm happy to speak to that, and Mr. Underwood can correct me if I say anything wrong or add to my brief presentation. I'm Stephen Lucas, attorney and administrator for the Bloomington City Council. I'm just going to show one slide briefly. This is a revenue estimate report released by the State Department of Local Government Finance. I've highlighted the amount that the state is estimating will be distributed, the total amount for public safety. That amount is $10,233,927. That then gets distributed to the public safety answering point or the dispatch center first. The amount they've listed here is based on the rate that was set last year. And so the committee today will be making a recommendation for adjustments to that amount based on the requested dispatch budget to be funded out of the PS Lit. And then the remaining remaining amount will be distributed to the 4 units of government. And again, the amount listed here that will be distributed to those 4 units is based on the rate set last year. And so there should have been a chart in the committee's packet to show the total revenue estimate of $10,233,927. The amount that PSAP has communicated that they are requesting out of the PS Lit, and Amy Hensley is here and I think can speak to any changes to that number. But at the last meeting, that was $2,585,000, which leaves $7,648,927 that would be distributed via certified shares to the 4 units of government. And so with that, unless Mr. Underwood has any corrections or additions, happy to answer questions on that.
Great. Yes, Mr. Sims.
Thank you. Does the PSAP distribution include the addition that Ms. Ainsley brought up for that new staff at our last meeting?
Yes, as I understand it, the dispatch center is requesting $2,585,000 out of the public safety lit. So the amount in the spreadsheet that I just displayed reflects that. In the packet, you will see 2 budget sheets from the dispatch center. The first reflects the original request of $2.5 million with a note that doesn't include the $85,000. And then the sheet behind that is the updated budget sheet with the highlighted amount of $2,585,000 reflected.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Any other comments or questions? Councilor Piedmont Smith.
Yes, I mean, I could do the math, but have you already done the math of what percentage increase in total public safety local income tax it is compared with 2022?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
So this year we're expecting $10,233,927. Last year we received a little over 9 million. What percentage increase is that? Or should I just do my own math there?
It's 13.4%.
13.4.
Yes.
Thank you. And is there any Does Mr. Underwood or Mr. McKim maybe have a thought on why the increase is so substantially in our favor?
I'm happy to jump in on that. There are two reasons for that. Is one, if you'll remember, in the first year of the pandemic, the state of Indiana extended the due dates for individual tax returns from April to August. And that impacted the lit distributions, local income tax distributions across the board, at which time we had certified shares in public safety. So we actually received a greater portion in 2021 because it was based on a longer period of time. Then for 2022, we actually, because they had distributed some of that money early, we actually saw decreases in those distributions over that time. So this is the first normalized year since 2019. And so that accounts for part of it. I did an analysis that would take a look at that normalized, assuming that, you know, the pandemic didn't happen and what the normal distributions would have been. The average growth's been about 4.5% to 5%. So when you factor that in, it's a little over an 8% increase in the distribution year over year normalized. The main reason for that is we've seen employment and pent up because of the pandemic and people can getting out now. We've seen it in food and beverage, will translate also into employment for public safety, as well as certified shares, an increase in that. So again, about double what we've normally seen in past years, average since about 2015.
Thank you very much. So I guess I'm a little puzzled because, you know, we've in every sector, we've seen employment decrease. I mean, it's hard to hire people. So I'm a little surprised that an income tax outcome would be so much higher. Is it that wages are growing or?
It's a combination of both. I mean, employment has grown because when everything shut down, you know, especially with restaurants and hotels and places, those people were not retained. But since we've seen those begin to reopen, there has been a growth, some good growth in certain sectors out there, especially in restaurants, food, and such, as well as service industries where they had to completely shut down. Plus, we've seen wages increase as well, trying to attract employees back. There is quite a bit of openings available. So trying to attract people, wages have gone up as well as inflationary type increases.
All right, thank you very much.
I guess my only other comment, I agree with all of Mr. Underwood's analysis. My only other comment is that this income that we're talking about was actually earned in 2021. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2022, because there, of course, in 2022, there'll be fewer transfer payments from the federal government. But on the other hand, the economy has certainly recovered substantially from the losses in 2021. So it wouldn't surprise me if 2024 is even stronger based on the 2022 income. Any other?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last sentence. Could you say that again?
Just, it wouldn't surprise me if 2024 is even stronger because it will be based on the 2022 income earned by Monroe County residents. So.
Sweet, thank you.
Okay, so any other comments on this item or questions? Okay, all I will say is that I did the same calculations as Mr. Lucas independently, and we came up with all the same numbers. So I think we're probably ready to move ahead to the next item, which is the public answering point, public safety answering point, tax distribution and associated tax rate percentage for 2023. And I think we're going to hear from Ms. Hensley here.
Before she gets started, I do want to make one point that technically these are still estimates. The final numbers will get certified in October after everybody does their budgets. But I believe that these will be the final numbers. I don't anticipate any additional changes to those, but I did want to make a note that technically, these are still estimates.
Thank you.
And before Ms. Hensley gets started on any additional information she would like to share, I'll just note for that reason, this committee today, when it's ready to, should make a recommendation for dedicating funding in a specific dollar amount for the PSAP portion of the lit, so that if the total revenue changes, PSAP still gets the same amount of funding, and then the rate would simply be adjusted to reflect that. So at the last committee meeting, I know Ms. Hensley spoke on the requested amount out of the PS lit for dispatch, but maybe she can share any updates or just confirm that the request I've communicated to the committee is in fact what's being requested.
The only change that we have is the one that we talked about the last time of adding the social worker. This year, the social worker salary is right at 61,000 with the anticipated increase of regular adjustment. And then with benefits, the figured amount is the 85,000 that we had asked for. And so you'll see that on the second page. We are using money out of the reserves in order to help some of the rates for some of the other entities.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so just to confirm, the final number that presumably someone here will make a motion to approve is $2,585,000.
That's correct.
Great, thank you. Okay, comments or questions from the committee? Okay, and that number does appear in the packet here, and all of the subsequent analysis and example distributions are based on that number. So no changes from what we see in print. All right, well, if nobody has any comments or questions, I'd entertain a motion to approve PSAP distribution of $2,585,000. Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
And the committee's typical practice has been in past years to offer public comment on this one agenda item. So if you'd like to do that.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Let's see if we have first any public comment in the room. And it appears we do.
Oh, can you hear me now? Thank you. I'm Cheryl Munson, member of the Monroe County Council, serving at large, and a former member of this subcommittee, and having served with you all. I'm here to speak today to the motion in front of you. And it is not that I disagree in any way with the request for the funding of public safety answering point. I do support that. I'm here just because this is the only opportunity for me to comment to you all that it is disappointing to many members of the county, and certainly a number of my constituents, who are disappointed that there was no funding at all for the Steinsville Fire Department's request. It didn't even have to be a large amount of funding, but that small fire department is working very hard to build its resources, not only to serve Steinsville and the surrounding area, but so that it can also join with the Monroe County Fire District. And I know this committee has supported unified fire protection for the county and collaboration. And Steinsville certainly has been hoping to do this. And I hope that future considerations will continue to take into account the needs of the fire departments that are not yet in the Monroe County Fire District. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other members of the public in person here who'd like to make comment? Seeing none, do we have anybody on, if you're on Zoom and would like to make public comment, please use the Zoom feature of raising your hand. Do we see anybody? Okay.
No, I don't believe so.
No members. Okay, so one more call, one last call for public comment. Seeing none, we'll move on to a roll call vote.
I'll go ahead with Committee Member McKim,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Sandberg,
Yes.
Piedmont Smith.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0. Okay, and then we have item 3C, which I think is just a note that kind of follows on from what we've already discussed.
Yes, thank you. I touched on this earlier, but just a note that the remaining revenue, which I have at the amount of $7,648,927, will flow to the 4 units of government based on a formula in state statutes. The amounts that each of those units can expect based on the current revenue estimate released by the state was included in your packet in the last column under 2023. Highlighted in blue. So you'll see Monroe County with these figures can expect just over 3.5 million, City of Bloomington 3.9 million, Ellettsville about 217,000, and Steinsville about $1,300. And so this committee doesn't need to act on those figures. This is just a note to explain that this happens as a matter of course based on your distribution for the dispatch center.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this item? And just to follow up on Mr. Underwood's comment that these are the information on the local income tax revenues that we have so far are estimates. We have no reason to believe that they will change, but they are estimates. If those numbers change, the percentages though are based on 2022 information. So the percentages by which the different units, the money is broken up into the different units, that's already fixed essentially. But theoretically, the overall amount to be distributed could change. So, all right, well, that sounds good. We move on to other business and final comments. We'll see if any of my colleagues on the committee have any final comments. Yes, Councilor Piedmont Smith.
I'm waiting for the clock to finish. Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm very pleased that we are using our reserve funds that some of us who have been serving on this committee have asked about in recent years. And I'm very pleased to see that those are being spent on some of the needs of our central dispatch. And I think that I'm very pleased to see the 13.4% increase and the resulting sums that will go to the governmental units, because I know we all have very high needs in the realm of public safety. So I'm pleased with that. I thank all the staff who helped with the process and my colleagues on the committee.
Great, thank you very much. Any other final comments? Yes.
And
Councilmember
certainly
Sandberg.
I am grateful to see the addition of the new social worker to the PSAP program that will allow us to venture into the 988 and provide additional services for people in need. So I think that's a good thing.
Thank you. Okay, I will just say that it has been a pleasure serving with all of you. This is one of the few opportunities that county and city elected officials have to work together formally, and I think it's worked really well. And I thank you all, and I think we've got a good outcome. So with that, we are adjourned.